There used to be a day I would go to war with people about this, that you should always do physical books, but this app has changed the game. I now love to read Kindle. Link to the video below, but recently I made a video talking about the 8 tools for reading retention. And some of the things I would do, talked about is things like, hey, you should probably do a dog ear. And hey, if there's a quote you want to put in your Notion, make sure to mark a Q. All these sorts of things have been really helpful, and it's why I love to read physical books. I want to share the system I've come up with for the Kindle and how I've been able to maximize my learning and remember everything I've read by using the application called Readwise. What Readwise does, among many things, it takes your Kindle content, the things that you highlight or take notes on, and it gives it to you however you'd like it. You can just look at all the highlights on their website, or it can transfer to an application such as what I'm obsessed with, to Notion. Every day when I take highlights and notes on my Kindle, I can rest assured that that content is being sent through, why do I say spat? To my Notion so that I can now have it as a document to remember and use for my sermons, my books, all that sorts of things. There's really 2 ways you can be successful in reading with the Kindle. First is your highlighting system, and second is using Notion to really organize it all. So first, your highlighting system. I just made a resource at treysbookclub.com. On the first page is a reading plan for the first 30 days. If you're watching this right away in January or whenever you want to watch this video, I have 2 of my favorite books to start out a year or to have like a resolution to just be a better person in the way of Jesus. As the first one is Atomic Habits and the second one is Gentle and Lowly. I think it's a really good combo punch. And on that resource at treysbookclub.com, I give a reading pace to help you finish both of those books in the span of 30 days. Now, I only mention that because the back half, the second page of that resource is my highlighting key. I give you the highlighting key for the Kindle, and then I also give you the highlighting key for physical books. Now, I want to highlight 2 of the keys that I use in Kindle I think could be most helpful to you. So there are 4 colors on the Kindle. You have the yellow, the orange, the pink, and the blue. I use all 4, and that resource gives you details on how I use it. But the main 2 I use the most are yellow and pink. And then the yellow is basically every main idea I read in the book. On the Kindle, I just drag my finger, highlight what I think is great, possibly quotable, but more important is like, this is the meat of the book. If I don't highlight this, then I won't really remember what the argument was. The whole idea is I can go back to the book and just read the highlights, and it gives me enough of a skeleton to remember all the other stuff that I read. Now, the pink is especially important because the pink is stuff I want to quote, either in a sermon or an upcoming book. I mean, this is fire. This is the stuff I want to tweet. These are the 2 highlights I use the most. So that's the highlighting portion. Now, how do I use Notion? I'm deeply considering sharing as a resource at treysbookclub.com eventually all of my notes of all the books I've read. I think it could be super valuable, but for now, let me show you how I use it. What's great about Readwise is when it automatically populates into your Notion. It automatically shows the author name, where you can buy the book, and what's really helpful is it shows the number of highlights. So for this book I just finished, Sabbath as Resistance by Walter Brueggemann, I really like it, by the way. It's only like 90 pages. It has 56 highlights. So I almost highlighted something in every single page of the book. Now, what's great about Readwise is it gives you these quotes in a perfect, it's all organized, separated. Now, if you ever highlight anything in yellow, it'll just show the quote and the location page. But if you highlight something, say in pink, it'll have this little marker right here that says tags pink. So what I do is when I'm done with the book, I go back and reflect and I highlight the quotes that have the tag pink on it. And instead of just relying on tags pink, I go in, I bold it, and I hit the highlighter on Notion and I highlight it. And then I take away the pink tag because I don't need that anymore. I go through the entire Notion document, all 56 in this case, and I make sure to bold and highlight the pink highlights because I want to be able to go back to this book in my notes and scan and look for not just the good highlights, but the most important highlights that I'll probably use in a quote in a sermon or a book. Now, I do have something about blue and orange. I don't want to bore you in this video, but I also want you to check out treysbookclub.com. I do explain what I use there. So go on over to treysbookclub.com. If this gains traction, I'll continue to do something like this, but those are the first 2 books, Atomic Habits and Gentle and Lowly, with a highlighting key to help you read more books in 2023.